Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel, Happy Girl Alaska. I am your girl Terry, and if you are new here, welcome, and if you are a return visitor or subscriber, welcome back. So today I am here to present you with a highly requested and highly anticipated video, which is the cost of living in Anchorage, Alaska. I know a lot of people are really curious to know, is it really expensive to live up here? What does it take to live up here? So I'm gonna go ahead and let you in on 411. Now I will say that the cost of living here is higher. So you will pay more for rent and mortgage, entertainment, groceries, transportation, things like that. So let's just go ahead and get that out in the open. But what I will say is that the amount of money you make here in Alaska is going to be slightly higher than what you would make in some cities and states in the lower 48. So keep that in mind. Okay, so the goal of this video is to just provide people with a little insight, you know, if you're considering visiting or moving to Anchorage, Alaska. These are some of the things that you'll want to take into consideration. And also, your budget is going to be determined based on how many people you have in your household. So someone who's single, it may require a little bit smaller budget in order for them to live comfortably here, as opposed to someone who may be married or have children or has children. Okay, so first I'll give you the median income. So the median income in Anchorage, Alaska is somewhere around $81,000. I would say if you are a single person, or maybe if you are married or have a partner, I think somewhere around $72,000 should be sufficient for you to have a comfortable lifestyle here. But I would say if you have children, you're probably going to want to be more in that lower to mid 80s salary or income range. Okay, so let's start with rent. When I was renting, and I want to say that was back in 2014, I was able to find a 2-bedroom with 1.5 baths. Only thing is I did not have covered parking or a garage, but I want to say the apartment was somewhere around 800 to 820 square feet. So the rent ran me around $1,250 per month, which I thought was pretty reasonable. I did pay an extra $100 for storage, but the storage was a really nice size storage. So to me, it was worth the money. Okay, so if you're living in a house, so I have a house now, and the median home value is around maybe $300,000 here in Anchorage. And so that will put you at a mortgage, let's say somewhere around maybe $1,500 a month. You know, you have to take into consideration what your interest rate is, the term of your mortgage and all of that stuff. But I would say somewhere around $1,500, give or take. Okay, so I'm gonna be really transparent here, and I'm going to talk about utilities for the space that I'm in. So the place where I live is somewhere around 1,550 square feet. I have 4 bedrooms, 2 full baths, a 2-car garage, and around this time of the year, the electric bill runs me somewhere around $60, and of course that goes up, so you can probably double that during the winter time, but during the summertime it's pretty low. And then for gas during the summer, I pay somewhere around $80, and again that amount is going to be much higher in the winter time. Okay, so next we'll talk about internet, cable, and mobile phone. So I personally do not have cable. Instead, I invested in a Roku stick. I absolutely love that thing. If you have a smart television, then I believe they offer Roku. Then there's also Fire Stick and stuff like that. But to me, it just was not cost effective to have cable. I like Roku. For those of you who know about Roku, you can pick and choose which premium channels you want, and that's it. I love it, and it cut my bill down significantly. So no cable for me, but I do have internet, and internet runs me somewhere around $100 a month. And then for my mobile phone, I pay around $77 per month. Okay, so next we'll talk about transportation. I'm gonna give you the gas prices. So for regular gas, at this time, it is $2.29 per gallon. And then for premium, it is $2.54. And for diesel is $1.99. So we also have public transportation, and it's called the People Mover. People Mover services the metropolitan areas in Anchorage. The People Mover day pass for adults, I want to say it's probably around $5, and then for youth it may be about $2. A monthly pass is going to run you about $60, and an annual pass is going to run you about $660. We also have Uber and Lyft. We also have the traditional taxi cabs. Now during the summer, you may be surprised to hear this, but quite a few people have motorcycles. They have motorcycle clubs here, which I think is really cool. At one time, I was looking into buying a motorcycle, and I dropped it way too many times, so I knew that it wasn't for me, but I love being a passenger. But people use their motorcycles here during the summer. You have to be extra careful. The window for when people ride their motorcycles is so small, so you kind of hear about people getting into motorcycle accidents just because people aren't used to looking out for them. Another mode of transportation that people use year-round is biking. You see that a lot in the non-winter months, but believe it or not, there are people who will put snow tires on their bikes and they bike all year round. So that's pretty hardcore in my opinion. All right, so let's talk about food, one of my favorite topics. So as far as food is concerned, I spend about $200 a month, and that money goes towards food for 2 people. If you have a family, it may be slightly higher. Now the prices for things like milk and ground beef and chicken and produce, you know, things like that is higher than the national average, as I'm showing you here. So it's not, to me, it's not that much higher, but I know quite a few people get sticker shock when they come up here and go to the grocery stores when they're used to paying so much less for their groceries. Okay, so next we'll talk about restaurants. Just to give you an idea, so a place like Cane's, if you order their box combo, which I think is the number 4, you can tell I've been there way too many times. Kasia loves that place. The box combo is $10.99 here. I'm not sure what the comparison is to a Cane's down in the lower 48, but that's how much you'll pay for one person. And then if you go to a restaurant, let's say somewhere like Moose's Tooth is a really popular restaurant here because in my opinion, and a lot of people have said the same who have come up here from the lower 48s, they have some of the best pizza. So if you're ever in Anchorage, you want to go and visit Moose's Tooth. But a large pizza from Moose's Tooth will run you about $31. And that one pizza can feed about 4 or 5 people. It's well worth the money. You have to check it out for yourself. And then if you go to more of a high-end restaurant, so say a 4 or 5 star restaurant, for 2 people, you're probably looking at spending about $100 and up. And that's if you're going to have appetizers, if you're going to have entrees, and then if you're going to follow it up with a dessert. A lot of times, if I go to dinner with someone, or even if I take my daughter, we'll split the dessert because the desserts at most of these places are huge. You get a very large portion, so you can kind of cut costs that way but not have to skimp out on dessert. Next, we'll talk about healthcare. And so if you look at the healthcare, depending on the services, they may be slightly lower or higher. I think for the most part, they're more in the higher range for different doctor visits, but depending on the service. So, you know, keep that in mind as well. They do have different healthcare providers that may offer maybe discount pricing, or depending on the plan that you have, let's say through your employer, you may be able to get a better rate. But this is just, I'm going to show you guys just a little snapshot here to give you an idea of what the cost variance is between what you would pay here in Anchorage versus what the national average amount is that you would pay. Okay, so lastly, we will talk about barbershops and hair salons. So I wasn't able to get a pricing model for how much it costs to go to the barber. I wouldn't know. But if it's anything like what you see at the hair salons, I would say that the prices here are slightly higher. And again, if you go back to one of my other videos, I talk about how there's really not that much competition here in Anchorage, especially when you're talking about beauticians that do African American hair or the barbers who specialize in African American hair. You know, they're just so few and far between. I think that number is growing, which is great, but just kind of be prepared. You may want to pick up a phone and call if you find a stylist and ask them what are their prices prior to going to their shops. But I'm pretty sure that everyone's prices is pretty comparable, unless you find somebody who's doing hair out of their home, and they certainly do have people that have salons or not salons. So there you have it. That is my review on the cost of living in Anchorage, Alaska. I hope you found that helpful, and I hope that answered some of your questions. If you have more questions, please let me know. Leave them down in the comment section, or if you want to send me an email, you can go to my website, www.happygirlalaska.com, and I will be happy to answer whatever questions you have. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, share the video, and if you're not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. All right, so I'll see you all in the next one. Take care. Bye.